Hello, it is Andrew's Weather Predictions here. Today we're going to be talking about, today we're going to have a lot of things to be talking about. We're going to be talking about severe weather across the central Great Plains into the Ozarks and Midwest and maybe Dixie Alley. We're also going to be talking about severe weather, or we're also going to be talking about kind of that longer ranged pattern. And we're going to be talking about your Easter Sunday. So first we're going to start it off here. This is a bit different. This is a radar topped with surface observations and alerts. So in these pink shades, you have red flag warnings, and in these shades right here, this bronze kind of shade, we have flyer watches and small craft advisories with that purple and pink. We have riptide warnings and riptide statements down here. We have frost advisories across the Tennessee Valley and into the southeast. We have a red flag warning in the northeast and some more small craft advisories and a flood watch in Maine. Here's the Weather Prediction Center over the next few days. You can see here thunderstorms are going to be possible, and actually right now we actually do have some showers and thunderstorms ongoing across this area, kind of in here. But So showers and thunderstorms are possible across the coast of Florida today, and then like Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Colorado. Tomorrow we could see some showers and thunderstorms across Texas, Florida, Maine. Can see some winter weather as well. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, sliver of Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and a sliver of Michigan. Day 3, we're going to have a wide area of thunderstorms from north-central Kansas and north-central Missouri in through South Dakota, Nebraska, Colorado, and Wyoming, parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri. Then we jump into your fronts aspect of stuff, and you see here's the timing. Looks like some showers and thunderstorms will form after dark on Monday, persist through Monday night and into Tuesday. Tuesday looks like a pretty active day. Maybe that looks like there's possible for some severe weather across this area. And then 12Z and Wednesday looks like we're gonna have a pretty big day for severe weather. Not big day, but slight. We already have we'll talk about the severe weather aspect, but it looks like we're gonna have a pretty significant severe weather day across areas in here. We'll talk about that in a little bit for Wednesday, and then thunderstorms are going to be possible from Minnesota all the way down to Louisiana. Thursday, we could have some more strong to severe thunderstorms from central Ohio into Louisiana. No current SPC risk due to predictability being too low. Friday, again, potential for some showers and thunderstorms down further south and maybe a stronger storm or two possible. Saturday, maybe something across Florida, but a lot of rain for the United States. Over the next 7 days, you see here lots of areas picking up around an inch or so of rain across this general area. Maybe some areas getting close to 2 inches. Excessive rain, we do not have any excessive rain over the next few days. Okay, so here's the Storm Prediction Center. We already went into today and tomorrow and risk. Day 3, we do have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms across as far eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. There will be potential for large hail, damaging wind gusts, and maybe a tornado, a brief tornado. Then, day 4, there is potential for a localized severe weather event across this area due to the lower capping inversion being there. Day 5, we have a 15% risk for eastern Oklahoma, almost all of Arkansas, extreme northern Louisiana, northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, and southern Missouri. I do see the severe risk extending into areas like this as well, and then up further north into areas like this. So we probably will, once this gets to day 3, my prediction with the outlook is, and actually I do have my outlooks, which I'll show you in a little bit here after we're done going through this, but my prediction with the outlook is going to have a marginal something like this. And then you're going to have that slight, kind of like that. And then maybe, or not the slight being that far north, the slight being something like this. And maybe you get an enhanced risk, but that's a little bit uncertain right now. And then nothing for days 6 through 8. Now, if you do look into my file folder here, I have made outlooks for today. We're going to open all of these right now. So this is my day 4 outlook. I have a 5% risk of severe weather from the Texas Panhandle up into the South Dakota region. A 5% for me is basically a marginal risk. and its predictability too low on this. Day 5. Oh wait, that's day 7. Let's go to day 5. Day 5, I have a 15% risk of severe weather from northern Louisiana up through northeastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, central and southern Missouri, western and southern Illinois, western Kentucky, western Tennessee, northwestern and central Mississippi. And I have a 5% surrounding that all the way up into portions of Illinois and Iowa and down into more southern Texas. Here's my day 6 outlook. I do have a widespread 5% region from south central Ohio and south central Indiana down through portions of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Panhandle, Georgia, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, those kind of areas in Kentucky. It is predictability too low. And then if we go back to here, we have a day 7 risk. We do have a 5% from southern New Jersey down into Florida. You can see if your state's in that Georgia's in there, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. Those are kind of the areas that are in there. Maybe a little, no of PA, but a little bit of New Jersey. And this is might get a 15%. We'll see, from me at least. Well, now let's jump into the models here. I already have the UK Met pulled up. We'll just start with the UK Met here. The UK Met doesn't have a pre-sim mode, but we can look at some stuff like the dew points and stuff. So we'll look at that to start off with. Here's your risk on Wednesday, and we're really not going to talk about that much in depth with it. We're going to mainly talk about Wednesday with the UK Met. So we do have a warm sector from southern Minnesota down and through anywhere in yellow. So I'm going to outline the areas. Anywhere in yellow, you guys have 60 plus dew points. Anywhere in this yellow shade right here. Anywhere in this pink shade is where severe weather will likely be ongoing at this point. If you're in that pink shade, that means you're going to have potential for severe weather. Maybe a bit further to the east-west in the morning. We'll see. And then 0Z, we're going to take a box sounding. This is going to be a box sounding, which is the average sounding for portions of Missouri and Illinois. You can see here the average sounding for this area has a small hodograph with some veer back veer, mainly a linear fashion with a little bit of veering in the lower levels, around 1,000 joules per kilogram of Cape, and lapse rates that are pretty high with shear modest. So this would be mainly a squall line type of sounding with embedded tornado potential, but wind would be the main threat. Further south, we're going to take a box sounding. This is going to be for Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, kind of those areas. This is a very good sounding. This is going to support tornadic development because of that curvature with that hodograph. We do have some veering in the lower levels. We have a bit of instability there, just a little bit above 1,000 in that area. And this is a large area, so there's probably going to be embedded areas, maybe in like Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and Tennessee, and southern Missouri that do see a little bit more instability, but that's a box setting. It's the average. If you look at the wind shear at this point, you do have a cranking lower level jet of 35 to 55 knots. You do end up having a 500 millibar wind streak across the area too. It's not the highest ever, but it's going to be enough to organize these thunderstorms. And then on Thursday, we do have a small severe risk across this area. It's not looking it's looking supportive, but we don't really have that much details right now. You see the 850 is a bit weaker. You have some lapse rates across the area, and yes, you do. If I end up taking a sounding right there, you see here, this is going to be mainly a hail sounding, maybe a tornado or two, and some wind gusts as well. Now we're going to go into the NAM Nest model here. We're mainly going to be looking at this for Thursday. Mainly, let's go to like right here. We're going to go look at this for mainly Monday into that Sunday period. I'm going to be looking across kind of the Midwest region here. So this is Saturday. Easter Sunday should be really amazing, and I'll talk about that in a second with the HRRR. It should be amazing. Then you might see some thunderstorms rolling overnight. Some of these could be strong to severe across Iowa. Maybe strong if I do end up taking soundings at this point. Let's see here. Okay, so some of these could have some large hail and embedded wind gusts, but no tornado threat. These are going to be elevated convection. Looks like some elevated convection fires across Wisconsin on Monday morning. Yep, mainly some wind gusts and large hail. The marginal is in place across that area. Then right around afternoon time, right around in the evening, we start to see some supercells start to bubble up in southeastern South and northeastern or southeastern North Dakota and eastern South Dakota. If I do end up taking soundings just south of where these supercells are forming, see, not a great environment. We do end up shifting the time a little bit. We have a supercell that forms in northeastern Nebraska. Check out the environment; it's favorable. And then if you check the environment for these supercells right here, you see here, the environment is becoming more favorable due to the fact that you have the lower level jet kicking in. And then boom, this is when the squall line starts to take shape here. There's a favorable environment for some tornadic activity. It is marginal. We do have an area with 3,000 Cape, some SRH in the area, very, very high lapse rate. So the main threats, the number one threat we're going to be looking at here is going to be hail. The number two threat we're going to be looking at is damaging wind gusts, and the number three threat we're going to be looking at is a brief tornado. And here's the composite index here. And then we'll look at the capping inversion, and it breaks across this area because the thunderstorms form right in here. And then Iowa, it starts breaking, and Kansas, it starts breaking as well. Now we're going to look into the NAM model here. We're going to go look into the precip with the NAM, and we're going to be mainly focusing on Monday now. Yeah, Tuesday. So here's about 18Z Tuesday. We have a low pressure in the Kansas, Nebraska. We have the low pressure in the Kansas, Colorado, and Nebraska kind of triple point area. Kind of sitting right there. 21Z, we do start to see isolated thunderstorms start to fire along the warm front there and in this area too. We'll take some soundings in front of these thunderstorms that fire in northern Nebraska. At this point, the environment is not really primed for these things. Hail would be the main threat with those. And then you do look at the take a setting right there. Again, nothing really interesting for severe weather-wise. Then 0Z. 0Z's got my eye peeled. If you end up looking at the instability here, we have a lot of instability across kind of where this dry line starts bulging. It looks like the main target area, if I was going to be storm chasing, would be pretty much right in here. You're going to have a lot of instability, and if you do end up checking on the shear or helicity, you have a ton in this area. The helicity, you're not going to be short of it. So that's why I'm thinking targeting in here. If I do end up taking some forecast soundings kind of right here where that supercell is forming, right by the low, pretty favorable environment. It is a bit capped. There is areas over here that aren't so capped, though. If I do end up taking a sounding right in front of the low, it's probably not going to be as capped. It is less capped. There are areas, though, that you see here. Look at the SIN. There are areas that sneak in there with a less capping inversion in south central Nebraska, right along that triple point there. So we'll have to watch that. Dew points end up getting up into the upper 50s, which is favorable this time of the year. You're going to have more surface-based thunderstorms as well. This is probably going to be more of a structure day. The better chasing area would be this area, but it's capped. Very, very capped, so you're not going to get much out of that. Now to look at the GFS here. Or actually, we'll look at the GFS, and then we'll look at the Euro, and then maybe look at the Canadian. We'll see. Let's look at the Euro, though, first off. The Euro ends up showing some thunderstorms end up forming around later afternoon here. We'll just look at that. Boom. Right around 0Z, we get some thunderstorms to form. And then here's Wednesday. Wednesday is looking like a very, very interesting day for anywhere in here. Really anywhere in here, you're going to have to keep your eyes and we're going to have to keep your eyes open for Wednesday. And I'm actually going to be even seeing some strong thunderstorms, potentially severe ones on Wednesday. That's not a favorable sounding. About central Arkansas looks like a very favorable area. And yep, there you go. You have high lapse rates in this area, high shear. There is a bit of a middle level cap, or there is a bit of a low level cap there, but you do have some pretty high shear as well. And if you do end up taking, again, I'm gonna take some box soundings again. We'll stop at frame 102 with the Euro here right now, 18Z. If you end up taking, you see the E50 millibar jet. If you end up taking a box sounding there in central Arkansas. You do see pretty favorable environment. Again, you have a bit of that middle level capping inversion and not middle level, but lower level kind of. It's a bit stable in the lower levels. You do see some veering, a small but not a small holograph, but that's workable. With this, it looks like you're gonna see some hail, some tornado threat, and damaging wind threat as well. Around 0Z, we start to see this line start to consolidate. Boom. Taking some soundings in northern Mississippi. You see a favorable environment ahead of these storms. Northern Louisiana. a favorable environment. Central Illinois, not really a favorable environment for tornadoes, but maybe for wind gusts and hail. And then around Thursday's an iffy day. It looks like you might get some prefrontals in this area. We'll see what happens. Thursday's a day that we don't really have much confidence on at all. We don't know where the warm sector could set up. We don't know where you're gonna get that prolonged moisture and where you're gonna get the wind shear and the instability. It's one of those moments where it's very predictability too low. Very predictably too low. Look at the GFS. It has a different solution. It has low in a different spot. It has the thunderstorms in a different spot. So you see here, you don't know the predictability with this right now. If you do end up taking some soundings to the GFS model, like right in the middle of where this convection is, like just side, actually that's not the right spot. Maybe like right in northern Georgia there. It's not really that favorable. It doesn't really look too great. If you end up looking at your composite indexes here, it's favorable, but not so great. So this day was looking a lot better yesterday with the 0Z run. End up looking at 0Z, you see here, Tennessee and Kentucky and Alabama get nailed. 6Z, it still has it there. And then 12Z, yeah, it's further south. So we don't know where it's going to set up. Now, last night and yesterday, oh man, it was pretty consistent about nailing the area. And now we don't know. It looks like the GFS is trying to speed up the system. The Canadian even has a different solution at this point. The Canadian has the low further west and has a more favorable look for severe weather for this area. So, if you want severe weather for Dixie, you want the Canadian model to really play out. The day before that, my Iowa folks, oh man, the Canadian wants to show a very favorable environment in Iowa with nearly 4,000 cape and 35 knots of shear. If you end up taking a sounding with the precip there, right here, in the individual storm forms, and once you take a sounding, oh, that's not the right area. Take a sounding like right north of it. Very favorable. And no joke here, this would be a very favorable sounding and probably would promote a pretty decent tornado risk. As you move along here, it grows upscale, which doesn't surprise you. Always grows upscale over here, but let's worry about that. You can see the risk is still prominent here. Looks like the Canadian shows a more smaller warm sector of 60 dews than what the other models show, but which is interesting. But yeah, let's look at the HRRR though. Let's look at your Easter Sunday. Look at the 18Z HRRR here. It's loading up right now, but it's got Sunday loaded already. Let's look at your Easter Sunday, see if there's any real chances for showers and thunderstorms here. Looks like mid-afternoon on Easter Sunday. We're good except Texas and Maine. If you do have outdoor plans in portions of Maine, you might be ruined, but I don't think anybody would this time of the year. Portions of Texas, you can see a pop-up thunderstorm or two. The North Pacific Northwest, you're going to see some snow and rain. Maybe portions of Louisiana, Florida, you're going to see some pop-up afternoon thunderstorms. And if you have like an overnight party across like this area, you're going to see the potential for maybe some isolated strong thunderstorms as well overnight. Now here's the temperatures for Easter. It's looking very warm. I'm just gonna say that right now. Okay, so here is right around afternoon. So we're gonna stop this at hour 28 here. So this is right around 5 p.m. Here's your peak temperatures. There's only gonna be a few areas in the freezing columns. The Cascades in the Maine. Everywhere else is going to be extremely warm. You're going to have areas in Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, Kansas, and Texas. You're going to be in the 80s. There's going to be white and across California, Nevada, Arizona. You're going to have widespread 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. There's going to be portions of the mountainous terrain over here that's going to be a bit lower temperatures. Illinois, you're going to be very warm, 70s. Pretty much everywhere in the United States is going to be at least 50 degrees except the areas I pointed out. Most everybody's going to be dry too. You see the accumulated precip within the last hour? It's very dry except for Maine And then isolated spots in Texas and Mexico and in the Pacific Northwest. Those are the really only areas that are going to see much at all. Now let's move on into the GEFS model. We're going to look at the mean supercell composite. So Monday, it looks like there's going to be a potential for some severe weather across, like I said, eastern South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin area. Tuesday. Now, you might want to say, oh my gosh, there's a ton of serious composites. There's 7. Yeah, there is, but this is all capped. This is going to be the area you're going to watch due to the fact that it's not so capped. But if the cap ends up breaking in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, you're probably going to see some interesting supercells. Wednesday, we see the mean is down here, yet again the cap, but at 0Z, the mean is further south, which, yep, that's where the area, right in the area you're going to watch here. The mean's going to be around 2 to 3, so that's going to be interesting. Thursday, the mean is maybe 3 in some areas. Friday, a lot less confidence, and then, yeah, as you go out, less confidence. We're going to look at the instantaneous flash rate on the year, like we always do here. So yeah, here's your Easter Sunday. Isolated pop-up thunderstorms are possible, maybe across this area, and this area, this area, and this area, but this is the year. It's a bit more of a longer range model, but you get the deal. Then it looks like Monday morning, looks like some showers and thunderstorms are likely for Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Then we start to see those supercells fire up across this area, and they're going to push off to the east. Pretty hefty line late at night. Then on Tuesday, looks like the supercells start firing 21Z, and then they get really intense overnight, form a Boeing segment. Then Wednesday looks to be a pretty major day as well, lots of lightning. Thursday, it's kind of eh. And then as we finish out the Euro run, it shows a bunch of MCS complexes across the south later on. What is that in Florida? What the? Okay, we're gonna look at that. What? How much instability is that in the ocean? Jesus. That's a lot. Now let's we're gonna look at the ensembles though. Here's for 1,000 Cape. Okay, so this is Monday. So it looks like Iowa, you're gonna see 1,000 Cape almost definitely. In areas couldn't even see 2,000 potentially. But 1,000 Cape is set in stone for areas in these orange shades in here. Now for Tuesday. Yet again, 1,000 Cape is possible across portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska. Then Wednesday, it's looking possible. The Euro ensembles are really not agreeing on Wednesday, but it looks possible across here if you're looking at those. Then on Thursday, maybe it's possible across the Dixie Valley regions. Now let's look at the Canadian model here. Or not the Canadian, the GEFS ensembles. Let's go look at right here. So yeah, they're set in stone for Monday. Tuesday is looking likely for Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, maybe Illinois too. Wednesday looking likely across kind of these areas in here. But that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching and goodbye.